What brings someone to Pine Street Inn? The reasons are different for each individual. Some have lost a job and have no backup support system. Others may be struggling with addiction. Some may grapple with mental illness or a combination of these factors. Many have lost their connection with their families, friends, and communities. What they all have in common is that the pieces of their lives have come apart.
By the time people get to Pine Street Inn, just about every piece of their life has unraveled. They've lost their housing, they've lost their job, they've probably lost the support of their family if they ever had it. They've lost their connections to really almost everything, and our job is to help knit all those pieces back together.
My story is, I used to go to Pine Street Inn. At the time I was, heavily involved in drinking alcohol. And I used to go there and sleep on the mats.
Hi, Leo. Good to see ya.
And I can remember one morning going there, and Leo and, my primary care doctor, they knew the condition that I was in through the alcoholism. And they decided to step in and, help me. And they pretty much sanctioned me to a detoxification program. And during this whole time, Leo kept, in touch with me through the whole thing. Usually what I do when something bad happens to me is I go back out drinking again. And this time here, for some reason, I didn't. Pine Street helped me out tremendously, by sleeping on the street and drinking alcohol to living in a beautiful home over here in Brookline.
Joe is a great human being, he's always, looking out to help other people who are struggling with alcohol and drug abuse. Every time that we call Joe for something, he's always there for us, so it is great to have Joe on our side.
At Pine Street Inn, our job is to help people put the pieces of their lives back together, working with each individual on a plan so they can take the steps they need to rebuild their lives.
My life before Pine Street was a complete nightmare. I was exposed to and experienced, I would say, unique hardships. Shelter wasn't there for me throughout the majority of my teenage years, so homelessness has been something that I was exposed to quite young. So after spending so many years in the streets and being homeless, I allowed myself to go to a program. I changed in terms of how I looked at it. I looked at it as giving myself a chance and an opportunity to do something different.
When Mark came into Handiworks, he came in pretty low. His life had really fallen apart in a lot of different ways. Since he's been with Handiworks, I think it's been a rebuilding process, and even just a week or two in, you could see the light kind of start to go off in his mind and in his eyes as he started picking up some skills and feeling like he was a part of something.
The caseworkers were like, look, whatever we got to do to break this cycle, to get you to the next phase, that's what we're going to do.
I've seen Mark put the pieces of his life back together one step at a time as he's been with us. I think that his confidence has just really grown.
Nick has definitely put his heart and soul into basically doing any and everything he could to help assist me with my transition.
Honestly, if I had a hope, we'd catch people before they end up on the streets. We'd catch them before they fall into shelter. Without the stability of housing, it's very hard for us to knit all those pieces back together, because the housing gives us the ability to help people with all of those issues like healthcare, like finding a job, like getting stable, like reconnecting with family. So housing really is our ultimate dream for everybody.
Pine Street Inn has reached a milestone. 30 years of providing permanent, supportive housing to homeless men and women in Greater Boston, with more than 800 men and women in 36 housing locations. Pine Street helps individuals rebuild their lives through programs and, perhaps even more important, with caring support. In the process, men and women renew hope and become whole again.